those who are watching this channel for the first time, so this is how it works. I run at 4:30 in the morning, and when I come back, I go straight to camera and start sharing with you guys what my thoughts are for the morning. So don't be shocked when you see me looking like this. So, but the first thing that I really want to get to is I really appreciate the response that I got from yesterday's video, because when I went to bed, it was about 12,000 views, and I believe now in the next couple of minutes it will be 13,000 views. We've got over 500 comments, and these comments are detailed comments. This really convinced me that South Africans want to take action on the stuff that we're going through as a country. So I really appreciate everybody that contributed, and I just want to break down the comments based on what the comments were saying. Um, I'll tell you now, 90% of the comments, it's almost like it was copy and paste. 100% we support you. Tell us what we need to do to go there and support you. And I really appreciate that. And about maybe 10% was legal advice. Guys say, maybe ICJ is not the right way to go. You might need to look at the ICC, maybe our own constitutional court, which I'm trying to avoid by all means. But the other 10% was, and this is the weird part, because the other 10% are people who say, hey, man, thanks for speaking out. We appreciate what you're doing, but please just watch your back and get protection. These people are dangerous. And then, and that actually, the safety comments that I got, I really appreciate them, because it shows that you really care about other human beings, but it actually proved why we should do what we want to do now with the case. Because if we live in a country where, if just by expressing your opinions, somebody can come and take you out, we already have a very serious problem. And we've seen that with whistleblowers. But with whistleblowers, it's very easy for us to assume that because they're dealing with murder and theft and taking billions and millions of money, it's justified to take somebody out. But no country should have a situation where your opinion or your whistleblowing should get you killed. Just from yesterday's video alone, I've got about 5 people who called me and said, listen, man, let's have a cup of coffee, man. Let's see how we can help you. And then now, every time somebody reaches out to me, and when I have a conversation, now I need to actually consult security and say, hey, listen, guys, let's vet this person. So that's the world we're living in now. So I'm in this box now where I get overwhelming support and people who are saying, hey, man, come to me, let's talk, let's do this. But I have to approach everything with caution, because that's the country we live in. So that is enough reason for us to want to deal with the issue of this government and their issue of not dealing with crime. So just based on the support that I got yesterday, guys, I really appreciate it. I mean, it was so overwhelming. I must tell you now, guys. I need to keep checking this, because, like I said, I come back from a run, I start talking. If this mic goes off, it's over. I'm not gonna be able to repeat what I'm saying, because I don't write it down really. So the support that I got convinced me that South Africa is behind me on this idea that we can't just do nothing. And then I also get, I think I had one, it might be 2 comments where it says, start a petition. Guys, I love petitions, I love protests and marches. We get straight to action. The 500 comments that I got yesterday, 90% of those comments says, let's go. That's what we're going to do. Whether it's 10 people giving 1,000 rand, or 100 people giving 10,000 rand, or 1,000 people giving 100 rand, we get going. Because what's going to happen now is, if we start a petition right now, is that in the next 6 weeks and 12 weeks, we'll be talking about the petition instead of action. So I say we hit the ground running. I've got a couple of meetings now for legal consultation next week set up already before the 12th. And what I'm going to be doing now is, yesterday, just after seeing the comments that I got from yesterday's video, I set up the domain for gatvol.org.za. Gatvol.org.za. That's already set up. So tomorrow I've got a meeting with my website designer. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be working to make sure that Monday this website is live. And then it means that on Monday you can go on the website and you start contributing and making sure that we can get this thing done. My job is to make sure that, okay, what is the best method to get these contributions, because we don't want to get ourselves in a position where the money comes in, there's no way of accountability. So for the next 3 days, the idea is to populate the website, see how friendly we can make it for you to go to gatvol.org.za, click on contribute, you put your details in, the money comes in, but we need to make sure that we can manage that. We don't want to do that as an afterthought. It's got to be done upfront, legally, perfectly. So that's what I'm going to be doing the next 3 days. We're setting up the website, gatvol.org.za, and once that is done, we start. We're not doing anything else. We don't want to be having 5-day debates about we're getting it done. We might not end up with the ICJ, but we're going to end up with a way forward. And then this actually got me thinking about some comments that I see, especially on TikTok, when somebody says, but listen, if you're in South Africa, we're a democracy, what you're going to do is wait for 2029 elections. And that's the only way you can, hold these people accountable. Let me tell you what happened. Actually, I was watching an interview the other day. I think it was Moeletsi Mbeki, interviewed by JJ Tabane. JJ Tabane says to Moeletsi Mbeki, what will it take for South Africa to have a revolution? What will it take for South Africans to be so angry that they just, burn everything down? And Moeletsi Mbeki responds, a wise man that he is, and he says, the revolution in South Africa has already happened. In 2024, last year election, South Africans rejected the ANC. They gave the ANC 40%, meaning that the other 60% was give us a new party. And then what I realized is that the reason why I don't have any hope for 2029 is because we are actually in South Africa, we are in the middle of race politics. And I'll tell you why it's race politics. The ANC gets 40%, 40 from 100 is 60, meaning that the remaining vote is 60%, distributed amongst other 10 or 135 parties like we have in the country. But then it proved to us that our politicians are so divisive that you have a clear chance to kick the ANC out completely and run the country. Put your differences aside and say, guys, we have crime, we have unemployment, and 2 other things. Let's focus on these things. Let's have a conference and discuss how we're going to deal with the economy, how we're going to deal with crime, how we're going to deal with all of these things that we're facing as a country. Because we've got the 60%. But then what happened? This guy says, no, I can't work with that guy. He's racist. The other guy says, I can't work with the other guy because he said this about me last week. Babies. So for as long as we have babies running political parties in this country, we're never going to get anywhere. So 2029, I'm telling you right now, we're going to have the same thing. ANC is going to get 30%, and the other 70% will never be able to work together. Where's your South African hat, man? Wear your South African hat and get things done. They had a clear chance with the 60% to rule this country and make something happen. Put your politics aside and say, guys, for the next 5 years, we can do the following things: crime, unemployment, the economy, this and that, and then focus on that. But what happened? They're so busy fighting each other about racial stuff and then who's better than who comes from which province, that the ANC managed to get back into power even after being rejected. But the revolution has already happened. So in 2029, let me tell you something, don't get too excited. And if somebody comes to me and says, what are we going to do this case now? Because, it's only 3 years before 2029. How many people are going to die before 2029? How many people will be hijacked? How many kids will be violated? How many women will be abused? Crime does not wait. It's urgent. So, sorry. So those are my thoughts. So number 3, which is the point that I put down here, is that we are going to set up the website, and on this gatvol.org.za website, we'll be able to put all the things that we need to do. Join the Gatvol movement and share the video with your family members and friends so that we can have momentum in the stuff that we want to do. My biggest passion is that I want to train young unemployed people into law enforcement so that they can patrol our streets and fight crime. And then that way we can influence other young people, have an awareness campaign where young people get more educated about their political choices and understand the weight of their vote, so that by the time we get to 2029, we have a portion of the population that is informed. There are millions of young people who are of voting age and they don't go and vote because they are not informed enough. That's my mission. So on the website, you're going to see the Gatvol court case funding, and then you also going to see the Gatvol patrol unit funding, because we want to do this. I want to spend the first quarter of 2026 doing this. Awareness to young people, make them aware of Gatvol, what Gatvol is all about, what is some level of political education to make them understand that this is your country, your voice matters. That one vote can put an idiot in power or remove one for that matter. So I really want to thank everybody. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to be giving you updates every day. The first update I'm giving now is gatvol.org.za is registered as a domain, and I'm going to get some legal advice on how to set it up properly. NPO staff set it up to make sure that when you contribute into this mission, I'm covered, you are covered. And then accountability is proper from day one. We don't want to do that as an afterthought. We don't want to find ourselves behaving like the ANC. So thank you so much for all your support. Hope you have a fantastic day. Please subscribe, share the videos, and we will win this. We don't want to start by marching or do. We're just gonna do it. Thank you so much. Until then, stay safe.